So hello students, this is week 7 and before starting with something new topic, we are going to prepare some programs based on the swings that we have learned in the last class. So in this lecture I have 3 programs to explain, and I am going to solve all these programs one by one with a layout, with the text field, with labels, and with the action listener. So let's start with the exercise. So the first question is we have to program a GUI application to calculate the factorial of a number as given below. So we have n and then we have the text field. We need to give some input there, and then we have to calculate a factorial. This is a label. So first of all, we need to check from here what type of layout should we choose. Now seeing the layout, it's not border layout, because border layout has a different type of appearance. Even it's not grid layout, it is actually a flow layout. So the simplest layout and the default layout, we are going to try this default layout also. So let's try with the first program, which is the factorial, how to do it. I will start with the JCreator. Okay. So empty Java file. I will choose the path also. Okay, so let me just give it a name, factorial. Now we need to import the required classes as discussed, as we have discussed in the theory lecture. So seeing the layout, we need to import the class for the layout, we need to import the class for the action event, action listener. Then what are the other components my program is having? It has label, it has a text field, and it has a button also. So there is one more technique of doing this. Instead of importing like we have done in the previous, we import each class one by one. Now for example, I have import javax.swing.jlabel. Now JLabel, JText field, JFrame, JButton, all of them, they are included in the package swing, javax.swing. So instead of importing one by one, I can just make it as a star. Although it is not preferred, I can write it as a star over here. So all the classes provided in the swing package will be imported by this. Next we have layout. Now layout is not in the swing package, it is in the AWT. So import java.awt.flow layout. So I can't make as star because I don't need any other classes. Next is event, action event and action listener. Both of them, they are in import java.awt.event. So I have to import the event file, event.star. So it will import my action listener and action event also. So this is also the shortcut way of doing it. Now if you see AWT, flow layout is in the package AWT, but action listener and action event is in AWT.event. So I have to import java.awt.event.star. Now let's start making a class. So public class factorial extends JFrame, implements action listener. So here I will make I can make make the objects also. of the label and button and text box. Public okay, so J label. How many labels I need? Let me check from my program. I need 1 and 2 labels, L1 and L2. Public J text field. I need 2 text field, TF1, TF2. I need button, J button, B1. So all these things I need in my program. That's why I have declared them over here. Now let's start. Now let's make the constructor over here. So public factorial so let's start with it. We have one more method of the J frame if we want to set the location of the J frame. So the set location method, I will explain this method while I am running. Let's first of all do whatever the methods we have learned until now. First of all, super. What do we have? Or set title you can use, and with super as empty. So factorial. Set size. Let me make it 200 by 100. This is width actually, width and height. Then no need for set title now. Set default close operation. Default close operation. JFrame dot exit on close. Now we have to specify the layout. Set layout, new flow layout. Now let's start adding defining the labels and the text boxes. So my first label, it's L1 is equals to new J label, and what's given there, it's N. If I see over here in my question, the label is N. My second label is L2 is equals to new J label, and it's factorial N. This is what my label defines. Next is text. Let's define the text field. So let's define the text field. TF1 is equals to new J text field, and whatever the size I want to give, for example, let's say 10. TF2 is equals to new, F should be capital here in the field, that's why new J text field. Let me make it 10 over here. Now what I am left? I am left with the button. Let me check. Sorry, here. So the button has a just name next. So I have B1 is equals to new J button, and inside it the caption is next. To the button I have to add action listener. b1 dot add action listener, and this, because I'm going to define the method, I'm going to define the method in this program only, or I can make it an inner class, but we haven't done the inner classes yet. Sorry, I haven't made any program with the inner class yet, so the next program I may make it with the inner class. Alright, so now we need to add it on the frame. So let's add it on the frame. So we need to add first of all label 1, then text field 1, label 2, text field 2, and button 1. So this is how we need to add. Add L1, add TF1, add L2, add TF2, add B1. So this is I have added. Now, because seeing the layout, so what we have done until now, let's recap. We have designed a layout, we have set the properties of the frame, we have created our labels, text fields and button, we have added the action listener to the button also, and then we have added all these components on our frame. Now let's make the action performed for the action listener. So we need to write inside the class. So here public void a should be small, action performed, action event E. Now let's check what we need to do. What we need to do is we need to put a number over here. Then when we click on this button, the factorial of the number should be displayed in the text field too. Now, as I explained in my lecture also, that everything, whatever you enter in the text field is recognized as a string of text and not as a number. So whether you enter 0 or you 0 like 1 like 1 or ONE, it will be recognized as string. Now since we are now playing with the numbers, I need to recognize, make my system recognize that it's a number, it is not a string variable. So you can recall the parseint method which you have done in your Java 1. Parseint will change the string variable into the number. So what I am going to do, I will do integer dot parseint. Now whatever I enter in text field 1 dot get text. Now whatever I enter in text field 1, it should get it and convert it into the integer. Now after converting it into the integer, where should it store? It should store in some variable. So I declare a variable over here, int number. That means whatever I enter in text field 1, it will take that value and convert it into number and store it in the variable called number, or x, you can make it whatever you want. Alright. Now let's apply our code or logic for the calculating the factorial. Let's assume an integer, result is equals to 1. I have to initialize it, recall the logic for doing the factorial. So for I have to use, you can use while also if you want, for int I is equals to number, I is equals to number. It should start from whatever number I have. it should be, I should be, and my loop should continue unless and until it is 0, it is greater than 0 and decrement. Now what I need to do is, I need to multiply the result by I. Result is equals to result multiplied by I. So this is my logic for the factorial. Now after I have the final value for the factorial or the fact, where should I set it? I need to set it in the text field 2. Text field 2 dot set text. Now dot set text, and let's put it as result. Now since text field 2 is a text field and it always takes everything as a string. Now result, variable result is of which type? It's of integer type. So I am like passing some integer to the text field which can only accept as strings. Now this line will give me an error over here. So what I can do, I will use the same method. I will convert the integer to toString method. So since it was integer, I will use integer dot toString, and it should convert whatever my result into the toString method. So what we have done over here, because now here we have to understand that whatever we input in the text field is recognized as string and not as numbers. So whenever we input anything to the text field, we have to convert that number, that number to be recognized as number, not as a string. So we will use the method parseint, parse double, parse float, whatever. After doing the calculation, we need to reverse the same thing again because it will be displayed as a string. So we need to convert it into the string. Let's just compile our program. It's done. Alright, now let's just create a main class for this. I will call it as test fact. So I will create a object of class factorial. F1 is equals to new factorial, and F1 dot set visible, I will set it to true. So that's it. Let's try whether our program runs or not. So it's here. I need to increase the width. It's here. I need to increase the width. I need to increase the width. Okay, let's just try to increase the width first of all. Okay, so 400, 200. So I need to decrease the height now. I need to increase the width more and height to less. So you can adjust it accordingly. Maybe 700 and height to maybe 100. It will go. Let's check it. You can try like this. or even you can expand or contract while your program is running to check whether it's correct. Alright, now let's check whether the factorial is running or not. Let's check for 3. Factorial of 3 is 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1, which is 6. So let's check it. It's 6. Okay, let's check for the 4. 4 into 3 into 1. 4 3 is a 12. 12 2 is a 24. So 4, it's 24. So that means my program is running. So this is how you can make a simple swing based program for the factorial. Let's go on to the next. Now we are going to make the same thing. Another program. It's a accumulator program. Accumulator sums the previous number. So we are going to accumulate the number entered into the one text field, and the result will be displayed in the other text field. Okay, I have one more thing to talk about over here. More methods of the frame, J-frame. I have a property called set location. If you have seen, my frame appears somewhere over here. So I can set a location for the frame. Now this top left corner is 0 0. Now when you move towards your right, it is x-axis starts increasing. When you move down, it's y-axis, and it's a value for y. So I can provide like value for the location, x and y value 600 and 400. That means it should appear at a screen location 600 and 400 and not just on the corner. So my spelling are wrong here. Location. Set location is a method to set the location of the, sorry, I run a wrong program. Okay, so location is used to set the location of the frame. Now if you see, my window appears over here. So this way you can set the location. Another property of the text field I am going to explain is 3, 6. Now if you see, I can like do something over here in the result text box. Actually what should be done, the result text box I should not be able to do or change some value or input some value. So we have a property called set editable. I can set the property of the text field to false. So how to do it? TF2, name of the text field, TF2 set editable, and by default all the text fields, they are in editable mode. If I set it to false, I won't be able to input anything in the text field 2, which is my result text field. Let's now check it. So these are two more properties. So if you see, it's now if you can see my text field 1, the background is white, but it has a similar background and it's not editable. So this is one more property. You can set the editable property of your result text box to false. Alright, so now let's move ahead. These were the two properties that I wanted to explain you. Let's move ahead to another question, because if you see over here, everywhere the result text box is set, the editable property is set to false. So let's start with an accumulator. Now first of all, let's check the layout also. If we see the layout, although it seems like it's a grid layout, but actually it's not a grid layout, it's a flow layout. I will do this program with both the layouts, grid layout and flow layout, just to tell you how you can recognize between flow layout and the grid layout. Now if you see, there is no gap between label and the text field, but in the grid layout you will see a clear demarcation. So this will give you an idea what is the difference between flow layout and the grid layout in the same program. This program, from the frame, it seems that it's a flow layout. So we will design it with the flow layout. but I will also tell you the difference, how it will look in the grid layout if we have it. So let's start with it. I have the same thing, accumulator. All right. So I will just copy some code for quickly doing it. So what do I have? I have two labels, and I have two text fields. So if you see, there is no button, so the action listener is added to the text field over here. So this is something new. Let's start trying with it. We don't have a button over here. Alright, I'll just import these classes from my previous program. This is a flow layout. Okay, public class accumulator extends JFrame, implements action, listener. So I have two labels, J label L1, L2, and I have two text fields, public J text field. I name it as TF number and TF sum. You can name it any. Now let me make public accumulator. So I will just write super. S should be small. S should be small. Set title. It's accumulator. Set size. I have to check. So the width is not that much, maybe 400, and height we have it, so maybe 400 by 200. Set default close operation, JFrame dot exit on close. Set layout, flow layout. Alright, now we start defining our fields. L1 is equals to new. What does my label says? Let me just check it. So the first one is enter an integer, accumulated sum is. Enter an integer. L2 is accumulated sum is. Now I have text field 1, TF number is equals to new. J text field, let me just make the size as 10, and TF sum is equals to new. J text field, let me make it as 10, and for the sum I will set the editable property to false. Alright, now we need to add action listener. So my action listener is on the text field, because I can't add any action listener to text because it's a result text box. So of course the action listener is on my text field 1 when I add any number, when I just add anything. Dot add action listener, this. Now I have to start adding my components to my frame. First of all, label 1, then text field 1, which is TF number, then label 2, then text field sum. So my layout has been done. Now action performed method. So same thing, I can copy action performed method. Now whatever changes I want to do, I will do it. Alright, so same thing I will do. I will take whatever is in my first text box and store it in some number, but the name of my text field is, let me erase it. Okay, so int number, my name of my text field is not TF1, it's TF number. So whatever I enter in the text field 1, I will store it in some variable, and then what will I do? I will set it to empty is equals to empty dot set text, dot set text. I will set it to empty. That means there is nothing inside it. Now I have to get the sum. Now see here, what does this mean? See, first of all, if I enter 2 in my first text box, so it will display 2 in my second text box, which is the result text box. Next time in the first text box, if I enter 3, so my previous number was 2, 3 plus 2 is 5. So now my new sum is 5. So now in the next time if I enter 4, so my previous number was 4. 5 plus 4 should make it, new number is 4 and the previous sum was 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. So in this case, I have to now check what is in the second text box also. So let me just declare a variable, and what will I do? I will do the same thing. Integer dot Parseint TF sum dot get text. Why I am doing this? Because it's an accumulator. Whatever I put the number in the first text box, it is added to the sum which is displayed in the second text box. So that means I have to take the number from my result text box also. So after taking it, what will I do? I will add both of them, sum and number. Sum plus is equals to number. So I will add sum and number. Now where it should be set? It should be displayed in the sum text box. TF sum is equals to, TF sum dot set text integer dot toString, integer dot toString, and what should be displayed over here? Sum. So accumulator is whatever number we added in the beginning and whatever is the sum, they both are added. So in this case, I have to take the number from both the text boxes, but I cannot enter anything in my result text box. That's why I set the editable property to false. Now let's make the main program. Main class test accumulator. Okay, So I will create an object, accumulator A1 is equals to new accumulator A1 dot set visible to true. So let's run it now. I didn't set the location, that's why it's here. Okay, now because my width is more, that's why. Okay, let me just decrease the width. This is how it should look like. So let's check first of all. It's like this. Let me just decrease the width and check it. Decrease the width. Height is okay. I'll close this. Decrease the width, maybe 200. So sometimes you have to try it to check to the correct layout. Now if you see, my width is smaller. Let me make it 300. So this is how you can try. Yeah, almost the similar now. Just the height you can. So now let's enter 3. So let's check it. It's not adding. That means we have somewhere logical error. Okay, so the logical error is we have not set any number in the sum, I guess. Let's try it. Now we have one more way of writing a text field, if you can recall. In the first way of writing, we can just give the size. In the second way, we can provide some information or some default text followed by the size. So what will I do? In the sum text field, I will provide 0. Now why 0? I will tell you the reason here. Because if you see over here, I will take whatever is entered in the TF number text box. I will take whatever is in the second text box sum. But because I do not have anything, that's why it's not displaying me anything. So now when I do add 0, so whatever the number I input first in the first text box, like 3, it will add to it. 3 plus 0 will give me 0. Then whatever I do, it will add to the further numbers. Let's check. It should do it. So the same logic applies over here, just like in the factorial. You have to initialize your test variable. It should work now. Let's check it. So if you see, by default now 0 appears over here. So let me just write 3, press enter, 3 appears here. Now let me just write 4 over here. Now 4 is in the text box first and 3 is in the text box 2, which is my result text box. Now it should add it. 4 plus 3 is 7 and 7 should be displayed in the second text field. Let's check it. 7. Now let me add 5 or 3 maybe. Now it will take the whatever. So let's go to the action performed. It will take whatever is in the TF number text box, convert it into number, store it in this variable, and then it will set the text to null. That means it will erase whatever is there. It will take whatever is in the second text field and store it in the variable sum, and it will add them, and then it will set the second text field to whatever we have sum and put it into it. We will convert it into string. So if you see over here, Now 7 plus 3 when I press enter should be 10. So this is how my accumulator will work. Now as I told you, I will try with this with the grid layout also to tell you how the layout will look. Alright, let's just instead of flow layout, let me just make it a grid layout. Alright, now according to the question, if we see grid layout, number of rows is 2, number of columns is 2. So here I will make it a new grid layout. This is just to let you know how to recognize a layout. So there are 2 rows and 2 columns. Rest all goes the same because I will add, when I add, label 1 is added to first row, first column. Text box field first is added to first row, second column, and like this. Rest there is no change in the code. Alright, now I will just, we will see how my output looks like, so that you can know what is the difference between flow layout and the, so if you see over here, it has filled the whole area. Now if I go over here, now my output does not match with what is displayed over here. So this is what I wanted to tell you, how you can recognize between flow layout and the grid layout, especially in the cases like this. So this is a flow layout and this is not a grid layout. Alright, so let's go back to our program. Let's go back to our program and make it a flow layout. So this was my purpose to tell you how you can know it. It is flow layout. Alright, now when we run it, okay, let's check it now. So now my design is same, except that my height, if I decrease the height, it's okay. So it's exactly the same. So this is how you can look for the layout. Alright, now moving on to the next question. So I have a small calculating application over here, where I am going to input 2 numbers in the 2 text fields, number 1, number 2, and then I have to select the operation addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Then based on the operation selected or the button pressed, I will get a result in the third text box. As usual, it is editable properties set to false. So let's start doing it. Okay, let's name it as a calculator. Okay, now concerning the layout, it might seem to you that it is done using the panels, but no, it's not done using the panels. It's a flow layout only, the simplest layout. So I will import the file, I will import the classes. Now let's see whatever we need over here. We need button, we need label, we need button, we need label, we need text field. So all of them is in the swing class. We need a flow layout, we need a event class. Alright, so public class calculator extends JFrame implements action listener. Action listener. I will show you another way of writing this program also. So let's start with this. Public J label. How many labels I need? I think I need 3 labels. Let's check 3 labels, 3 text fields and 4 buttons. L1, L2, L3, L4. Sorry, I forgot, and I have an error over here also. Okay, so public J text field, I will write TF1, TF2 and TF result. I have 3 text fields. I don't have a 4th label. Do I have a 4th label? Let's check it. No, 3 labels. So why do I have a 4th? I have 4 buttons. Public J button, B add, B sub, B mul, B division. Okay, so public calculator, super, I can set it over here, calculator, set size, I can set it by maybe 200 and 140 because not that height, not that long. Set default close operation, jframe dot exit on close. Layout, set layout, flow layout. Okay, now let's start adding the labels. L1 is equals to new J label. So what's it? Let's check it. Number 1, number 2 result. Number 1. I can copy. So label 2 is number 2. Label 3 is result. Same thing I have for text fields. TF1 is equals to new J text field. Let me set it to 10 or 8, whatever you want. Okay, similarly I have another also. So TF2, and the third one is TF result. I will set the editable property of the third text box to false. TF result dot set editable false. Now we have button. B add is equals to new J button, and what we have on the button, it's just a plus sign, plus, minus, multiply and divide. So it's just this sign. So similarly I can copy the other, same thing I can copy. So this is B sub, and this is okay, and B mul, and let's give it a multiplication sign, and B div, and let's give it as a division sign. So it's done. I have to add action listener to all the buttons. Okay, So b add dot action listener, this it should be add and A is capital. Similarly, I will add to the other buttons also. B add sub mul and division. So I have added the action listeners also now. Now I need to add all these to my frame. So how to add it? First of all, label 1, then text field 1, then label 2, text field 2, label 3, result text field, TF result. Then I have buttons, add B add, B sub, B mul, B div. So my layout is complete now. Now what I need to do? Action performed. Public void action performed action event E. Now since there are many buttons, so I need to recognize which button is selected so that the particular operation is carried on. Alright. Because it can take double numbers also, so whatever I take from the text field 1, I will store it in number 1. Double num1 is equals to double dot, if you are taking an integer it should be parse integer, if you are taking a double it should be parse double, tf1 dot get text. So I will store it in the variable num1. Similarly, I will store whatever I get from text field 2 in num2 dot parse double tf2 dot get text. Now after performing the calculation, I must have some variable to store the result. So I declare a variable called result. Now let's start working on the buttons. So if e dot get action command, command, so what is it equal to? If it is equal to plus button, if it is equal to plus button, then what it should do? Result is equals to num1 plus num2 because it's adding the numbers. Else if e dot get action command dot equals, what it is equal to? Subtract, minus, then what it should do? Result is equals to num1 minus num2. Here you can also use a logic to check which number is greater. So you should subtract smaller number from the greater number. This is for you to do something. Else if E dot get action command, if I click on the multiply button, so I forgot to put here, it's a method, dot get action command dot equals, what is it equal to? Multiply. Then what it should do? Result is equals to num1 multiply num2. Now else what it should do? No need for having an action command. Else, because the last button left is the divide, else what it should do? Num1 divided by num2. Again you can check for here. It should divide a larger number by the smaller number. So we are done here. Now we have to show the result. So after my if statements complete, TF, what is the name of my text field? TF result. TF result dot set text double dot to string and result. It should convert the result into to string. So it's done. Let's just compile it. Okay, I have an error somewhere. Yes. Okay. Let's write the main class for this, or the test class. Test cal. So I'll make an object. I can also do something like this. New calculator dot set visible to true. So this is also just a one line statement of setting it, a shortcut way of writing it. Let's just run it. So I think it's okay. If you see here, just a little bit of height is required more. So let me just write 2 and 3 added to 5, subtracted -1, multiplied is 6. It's some greater number. Okay, let's 15. Okay, 15 divided by 3. Let me just, so it's 5. So this is how we can do a simplest calculator program. This is how we have done this. So that is all for this exercise. I have other exercise also. For example, I am going to attach this exercise also for you to practice at your home. The first 3 questions were explained in the demo when I was explaining the layout. Now in this question you can just try with the layout without any action listener. So this is just to create a GUI, because you must have hand on to create a GUI. You can just try to create a GUI over here. In this question again, area of the ellipse we are calculating. So from here it's quite visible that the layout is grid layout, and it has panels also. It has panels also, this question. So we have a grid layout, we have a panel 1 and we have a panel 2, and the layout of the frame is the border layout. So panel 1 is attached in the center and panel 2 has only 2 buttons. The layout of the panel 2 is the flow layout, and it is attached in the it is attached in the south of the frame. Okay, let's try to do it. I will do this program for you so that you can have an idea how to do this type of program. Now rest all the programs. We have done this program in the demo where we have changed the color, but now what this program wants is when you click on green, this whole frame should, it's not only panel, it should not be divided into panel. This whole background should be changed to green color, blue color. So you can use the same option like get content pane or whatever you like. Then this is a login page, so you can try this layout also. Anyways, I am going to explain this. Rest all the questions you are going to try by yourself. I am going to try only those questions which you are not able to do it. Now in certain questions you will see set the font type, font style, text color. Ignore all these properties of font and color because we haven't done it. It will be included in the next part of the swing. So for example, we have this program calculating the simple interest. You can try with this. Then we have this program. You can try all this. But I am going to do only one program over here, which is calculating the area of the ellipse. So area of the ellipse is given by 3.14 multiplied by its major axis and minor axis. Alright, so let's try this program. Okay, so we have a layout. This seems to be a grid and this seems to be a flow layout. So let's start with this program. Let me call this program as ellipse. Okay, let me call this program as ellipse. Alright, so let's check what we need over here. I will just copy the files. I need a panel also. Okay, so what I need is, I need panel, I need labels, I need text areas, I need buttons. So all of them, they are included over here. Okay, so let's start building this program. Public ellipse, class ellipse, extends JFrame, implements action listener. So I will create the objects public J label. I have, I guess, 3 labels, L1, L2, L3. Let me check it, how many labels are there. I have 3 labels and 3 text fields. Public J, text field TF1, TF2, TF area, and I have 2 buttons, public J button, vcal, and what is the another one, be clear. Be clear. Alright, so I will start with making the constructor public ellipse super, what is there in the title, let's check it, 3546 version A. 3546 version A. Then set size size is bigger, set size maybe 400 by 400, set default close operation jframe dot exit on close, set layout is equals set layout new border layout. It's a border layout, it's visible from here. Alright, now let's make two panels. J panel, J panel P1 is equals to new J panel, and I have J panel P2 is equals to new J panel. On the first panel, I will put all the labels and the text fields. On the second panel, I will put only the buttons. So the layout of the panel 1. P1 dot set layout, grid layout, new. So I'm not going to use over here only the flow layout, because so I will use over here star, because I have all the layouts. So if I just use flow layout, it will give me an error. Grid layout. Now how many rows and how many columns? Let's check it. 1 2 3 3 rows and 2 columns. So 3 comma 2, number of rows followed by number of columns. And panel 2, P2 dot set layout new flow layout. So let's start doing it now. So panel 1, okay. Now I will start making the labels and text fields. L1 is equals to new J label, and what is there? Let's check it on the label. Enter major axis A, enter minor axis B. Enter major axis A, and the second label is enter minor axis. Enter minor axis B, and the third label is area of ellipse. Area of ellipse. Alright, now text field TF1 is equals to new J text field. Let me make it as 10. TF2 is equals to same thing I will do for, I will just copy. So TF2 and TF3 so I have done. Now I will add all this to the panel. P1 dot add L1. I will add all this to panel 1. Then I will go with panel 2. So panel 1, I have L1, then TF1, It's not TF3, it's TF area. Then I have L2, then TF2, L3, and then TF area. So I have added it to the panel. I have not yet added panel on the frame. Now let's do for the button. B1 is equals to new J button, and it is calculate. B2 is equals to new J button, and it is clear. Alright, now I will add it to the panel. P2 dot add B1, P2 dot add B2. I have not yet added action listeners, so B1 dot add action. So this is what you need to remember. Like I forgot to add action listener. This is what you need to remember, all these things, whatever you have to do for the layout. B1 dot add action listener, this. B2 dot add action listener, this. Now I have added it to panels. Now I will add panel. Add P1 comma border layout dot center. And I will add P1 or P2, add P2 dot border layout dot south. So I am done with my frame, with the layout. Now the best option is just write over here public void action performed, action event E. And before writing the action event, we have included the method. Just make it as an empty method. Test your layout, whether your layout is correct or not, your frame is correct or not, because the first and foremost thing is the frame. Here I have an error here. So the first thing is, after you do B cal be clear, so that's why. Okay, I don't have button B1 B2, I have B cal be clear, B cal be clear, I have B cal be clear. So these are the probable type of errors that you may also face, especially in the long program. So J panel, P is small here, border layout, so here I have to put comma. It's done. I will write a test program to check whether my frame is correct or not, layout, because that's very important. Test ellipse. Because action performed is very simple to do now. The main thing in your program is your user interface, is your frame. How do you arrange the components? So before you go, because it may be possible you may have errors in the action performed, so all the errors will mix up. So first of all, after designing all the components, the best thing is you make a test program and check your layout and then go for the action performed. So this is actually a practice tip to get your work done or to rectify your errors easily. Even dot set visible. Now if you have seen, I have many errors. So if I would have written a complete program with the action performed, it will take much more time for me to rectify the errors. So that's why we recommend to complete the frame and test it before you do the action perform. Because if your frame is correct, of course you can do the action perform method easily. Alright, so my frame is correct. If you see over here, my layout is correct. So the first step towards making any GUI program is design your frame, check your frame. So it's taking an input, for example 2, 3, but it will not do anything since I have not done action perform. So now very simple, I will go to the action perform method and write the action perform method over here. So I have two buttons. If e dot get action command dot equals, what it is equal? It is equal to whatever you have written on the button. It is equal to calculate. Whatever you have written on the button. If it is equal to this, what you have to do? I will read whatever is in the first text field and whatever is in the second text field is equals to double dot parse double tf1 dot get text. So same thing I will do. Double b is equals to double dot parse double, I think here D should be capital, yes, parse double tf2 dot get text. Now I will multiply double result is equals to 3.14 multiplied with A multiplied with B. So what I will do now, TF result, that was the name of TF area, sorry, TF area dot set text double dot toString and the name of variable is result. So done. Alright, if e dot get action command dot equals clear, then what it should do, tf1 dot set text is equals to empty. Same way tf2 dot set text is equals to, and tf area also, tf area dot set text is equals to, let's check it, symbol set text, okay, I think here, okay, I should write it like this, because this is set text is the method actually. Set text is the method, so method has to be written with the parameters. Alright, let's just check it. Okay, done. Now let me check it. So done. Okay, so if I write 1 1, 3.14 multiplied with 1 1 should be 3.14. let's check it. 3.14, let's clear it. It's cleared. 2 multiplied by 2 to the 4 multiplied by 3.14, 12.14, 12.56. okay, clear. So this is how we have designed the layout and done the program. So that was all for this lecture. Thank you so much, and try rest other programs in this lab by yourself, and if you have any concerns, you can raise your concerns in the lab. Thank you so much.